Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Balaba Grivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Gopi Jana Balaba Grivaradari Jaya Gopi Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna. Don't play. Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Gopi Jana Balaba Grivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Balaba Grivaradari Jaya Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Rama Rama Jaya Prabhupada 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 Nita go Haribo 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 Nita go Haribo Nita go Nitai go Haribo 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 Nita go Haribo Nita go Jaya Vishnu Paramahansa Parihārye Tasmād Hesi Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jaya Vishnu Paramahansa Parihārye Tasmād Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Adanta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki ISKCON founder Acharya Prabhupada ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Go Bhakta Vrinda ki Sri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki Vrindavan Dham ki Mahaprabhu Dham ki Dwaka Dham ki Jagannath Dham ki Ganga Yamuna Maya ki Sri Krishna Balaram ki Sri Radha Sundar ki Sri Nitai Guru Chanda ki Sri Krishna Harinam Sankirtana ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Nitai Gopimanande. All glory to the same devotees. All glory to the same devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. Agyana Chimendasya Ganangana Salakaya Chaksu Militan Yena Tasmād Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtan Sapita Yena Bhutale Sayarupa Kadamonya Dadati Sampadantikam Vandeha Sri Guru Sita Padakamana Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sirupam Sakajata Sagan Raghunatha Vitata Sajivan Sadvaita Savadvita Parjana Sata Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devan Sri Radha Krishna Parasahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhavitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radha Vrindavaneshwari Pisabhanu Sudhi Panamami Hare Krishna Krishna Ya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandana Yacha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Gobindaya Namo Namah Vasudeva Sutan Deva Kansa Chanaramadana Devaki Paramananda Krishna Bhante Jagaguru Vanchaka Potarubhyascha Kipasindri Vivacha Patitanam Pavana Vebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishna Ya Krishna Chaitanya Mene Gaurati Sinama Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare So I thank everyone for being here this evening for the Bhagavad-Gita class. So we are in the second chapter. It's been there for some time now. This analysis called, this chapter it started as Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means analysis. The Sankhya also means branches. So Lord Krishna is talking to Arjuna, instructing him, because Arjuna, who had become very disheartened because seeing the people on the battlefield of Kurukshetra who were ready to fight him. But all these warriors, they happen to be family members, friends, cousins, nephews, gurus, grandfather, just like grandfather Bhishma, many other well-wishers like King of... So Arjuna, when he told Krishna that take me to the middle of this battle, and take me to the middle of the warriors, let me see who's ready to engage in this battlefield. And then he saw everyone just family members, basically. Family members are friends. So Arjuna became very disheartened. He said, what is this? What this kind of fighting is this? But this is not an honorary fighting. It's like at the beginning, Dhritarashtra said, Dhammashetra Kurukshetra, Samaveta Yudsava, Mamaka Pandavaschava, Kumakupata Sanjaya. So, Dhritarashtra asking Sanjay that in that place of pilgrimage, Dhammashetra, Kurukshetra, a place of action, a place of dharma. So it's not an ordinary battle. It's a dharma yudh. Dharma yudh, religious warfare. And this dharma yudh is meant to accomplish something. It's meant for a purpose. That's why Krishna allowed this gathering of millions and millions of warriors to gather together, because part of Krishna's mission when he came 5,000 years ago was to annihilate the miscreants and to establish the religious principle. This is part of the reason why the Lord incarnate. So the battle of Kurukshetra was meant for that purpose. And Arjuna is supposed to be the instrument by which the Lord will carry out his mission. But here, Arjuna, he became very discouraged, became very sad that everybody here, they're just family members. So he was giving so many considerations why he cannot fight, why this fight should not take place. And I was telling Krishna that maybe I should just go to the forest and become a sannyasi. But at the same time, he saw all the opponents. They were all very, very eager to fight. They were very, very eager to fight. So Arjuna said, I don't know what to do. Either to kill them or being killed by them. I don't know what to do. So at the end, Arjuna said, Kapanya dasu pahata sababa prichamiton samanam baba. Yasha yasha nischa britame sishya stehan sadimantam prabhana. So therefore, my dear Krishna, I become like a miserly person. I don't know what to do. So you know the better. So therefore, You are the Jagat Guru. You are the spiritual master of everyone. So therefore we say Krishna Vande Jagat Guru. Krishna is the universal Guru, is the original Guru. So Krishna Vande, we are pay our obeisances to Sri Krishna, who is the Jagat Guru. So therefore, sisters, the hands of the mountain. So therefore, my dear Krishna, please, I'll become your disciple. So please instruct me. And then Krishna began his instruction. So Arjuna now, even though he's Krishna's friend, normally the talks between friends are not, are never really that serious talk between friends. So Arjuna is simply placing himself in the position of a disciple who is ready to listen to a master. And the master is Krishna. This is so Krishna begins his instruction from chapter 12. From chapter 2, text number 12. Now we are text number 27. So we read the text together. Text number 27. Is it on the board? 27. Huh? 27, yeah. Jātasya dhruvo mṛtyuḥ dhruvaṁ janma mṛtasya tasmād aparihārye arthe śocitum arhasi jātasya dhruvo mṛtyuḥ dhruvaṁ janma mṛtasya tasmād aparihārye rthe tvam śocitum arhasi
dhruvam janma mṛtasya tasmād aparihārye tvam śocitum arhasi jātasya dhruvo mṛtyuḥ dhruvam janma mṛtasya tasmāt aparihārye nātam śocitum arhasi jātasya dhruvo mṛtyuḥ dhruvam janma mṛtasya tasmād aparihārye nātam śocitum arhasi jātasya dhruvo mṛtyuḥ dhruvam janma mṛtasya tasmād aparihārye nātam śocitum arhasi
Jatas, okay. Dhruvaṁ janma mṛtasya tasmād aparihārye Jātasya, of one who has taken his birth, he certainly, dhruva, a fact, mṛtyuḥ, death, tvam, it is also a fact, janma, birth, mṛtasya, of the dead, cha, also, tasmāt, therefore, aparihārye, of that which is unavoidable, arthe, in the matter, cha, do not, tvam, you, śocitum, to lament, arhasi, deserve. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. One who has taken his birth is sure to die. And after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Purport. One has to take birth according to one's activities of life. And after finishing one term of activities, one has to die to take birth for the next. In this way, one is going through one cycle of birth and death after another without liberation. This cycle of birth and death does not, however, support unnecessary murder, slaughter, and war. But at the same time, violence and war are inevitable factors in human society for keeping law and order. The battle of Kurukshetra, being the will of the Supreme, was an inevitable event. And to fight for the right cause is the duty of a Kshatriya. Why should he be afraid of or aggrieved at the death of his relatives, since he was discharging his proper duty? He did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subjected to the reactions of sinful acts, of which he was so afraid. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relatives, and he will be degraded due to his selection of the wrong part of action. So, jātasya dhruva mṛtyuḥ dhruvaṁ janma mṛtasya tasmād aparihārye arthe na tvam śocitum arhasi. So the original translation of this text is, for one who has taken his birth, death is certain. And one who has died, both is certain. This is from the original Bhagavad-Gita, before this one. So when I join, we learn this one only, we memorize that one only. So which means death is certain for one who has taken his birth, and for one who has died, birth is certain. Which means both birth and death is inevitable in this world. We take birth based upon our previous karma. We call it prarabdha karma. Normally, there are two types of karma. You have prarabdha karma, and there's prarabdha karma. Both is there. So both, which means when the particular karma is fructified, which means the karma which you did in your previous life, when that becomes fructifies, then you take birth. You take birth from your previous life. You take birth, and then you have to live your life from beginning. It was a janma karma, it was that janma mṛtyuḥ jara. You have to live your life. And as you live your life, you're also accumulating different karmas. And because the material body is such that no one can live eternally in the material body. No one can live eternally in the material body. So eventually, time will come when you have to die. We cannot live in this material body forever. It's anitya. Anitya is temporary. Anitya is temporary. And of course, as they say, it's also full of distress. So, and that's why as long as we're in the material world, we can never be happy. Because material energy is always giving us all kind of distress one after the other. All kind of problems, all kind of misery. So sometimes we may be happy, and sometimes we are not. So Lord Krishna said, Sitoshna Sukadukdaha, which means winter and summer, they come and go. Sitoshna Matras Pasastukonteya Sitoshna Sukadukadaha Agama Payanotitya Tan Tiksha Bharat. So therefore Lord Krishna is saying, like the temporary happiness and the stress is like winter and summer season. In the winter, it's very, very cold. You say, oh, this is too bad, this is too bad. You know. And the summer now, we are beginning summer now. It's very, very hot. Just as we complain, we feel miserable during the winter time, similarly, we also feel miserable during the summertime. But Lord Krishna said to take shower. Thanks to take shower. You should tolerate them. If you want to develop spirituality, then you have to tolerate the appearance of happiness and distress that come and go. In the material world, happiness is not permanent. Similarly also, distress is not permanent. Because that's the nature of material world. So therefore, a spiritualist tolerate. A spiritualist tolerate by cultivating, self-realization, and by voluntarily taking up austerities. So you have many persons, many, just like you have many yogis, whereby in order to develop self-realization, to become equiposed, they will voluntarily subject themselves to hardship. Like for example, just like you find many yogis, you find them in the wintertime, no matter how cold it is, they don't wear clothes. They remain undressed, no matter how cold it is. They don't wear clothes. And not just that, they take cold bath in the wintertime. They take cold bath in the wintertime. And then in the summertime, so hot, you find them, they will lit fire, and then they will stay in the middle. They will surround themselves with fire. They will stay in the middle. Because they want to be able to control the senses. They want to bring the senses and mind under control. So therefore, such persons, because they are performing this austerity of still in the winter, not wearing any dress in the winter or in the summertime, they surround themselves with fire, so they can bring the mind and the senses under control. So such persons, ultimately, they are not affected by the miseries of life. They are not affected by happiness or distress that come and go. They are not affected by it. So, this is what Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna in this chapter. This chapter is such an important chapter. Of course, he said that the content of the Gita is summarized, but it's spiritual knowledge whereby the spiritual cultivation begins when we learn to separate the body from the soul. When we learn to separate the body from the soul, that the soul is different from the material body. The soul, by the nature, the soul is eternal. The soul is not temporary. Whereas the material body is temporary. So throughout the majority of in this chapter, majority of the verses, at least about 30 verses or so, where Lord Krishna is emphasizing that yes, the soul is eternal, is nitya, is eternal. So in this verse, he's saying that jātasya dhruvo mṛtyuḥ dhruvaṁ janma mṛtasya tasmād aparihārye tvam śocitum arhasi. That's the soul has come, he has taken birth, and the soul is going to remain for some time. It will remain for some time. But, it's going to remain in the material body for some time, and then after a while, then what is inevitable is death. Death is inevitable, and birth. For one who is dead, birth is also inevitable. Birth and death will always be there. So samsara, that's what we call a repeated cycle of birth and death. So this repetition of birth and death, we go on eternally until one comes to self-realization, until one attains liberation. Until one attains liberation, this repetition of birth and death will always be there. So one story is there. It was Maharaj Chitraketu. So Maharaj Chitraketu was a big emperor, big king. And he had so many wives. But it so happened that he has no child, he has no son. He has no son, Chitraketu Maharaj. So he was lamenting that, why is this? No son. Well, who's going to, when I die, who's going to take over the kingdom? This is always the big worry of the monarch. That yes, somebody have to continue after they are dead. So the king was, full of worry. And then one time, the great sage, what's his name? Angira Rishi. So Angira Rishi came, visited him. And then when Angira Rishi visited him, then Chitraketu Maharaj, normally the sage came and asked him that how's everything in the palace. So the king was full of distress. He was full of sadness. He told the sage that, I have no son. I have no issue. Since you're a great sage, please help me out. Because everybody knows that the sages, they have the ability to give benediction. They can do what is most impossible. So the king begged the rishi that, please enable me to have a child, to have a son. So Angira Rishi, he said, yes, I will help you to get a son, but that son will be the cause of your happiness and also the cause of your distress. If it cause you happiness, it will also cause you distress. The king said, I don't care. I just want to have a son. It doesn't matter if it's going to cause me happiness or distress. I just want to have a son. So the Rishi, Angira Rishi, he made some preparation and give the king that, okay, you just give this preparation to one of your wife, and that your wife will bear a son. So the king, he gave this to one of his wives. So the wife, she took the preparation, and then she became pregnant, and then she bore a son. And of course the king, his happiness was beyond any bound. He was so happy like anything. His happiness was beyond any bounds. So happy that yes, it's now, dancing throughout the palace. Now he has a son now. So happy. Now, the king, he has so many wives, but the wife who bore him the son, the king was treating this wife very special treatment. He was giving this wife very special treatment, very affection to this wife. So the other wives, they felt neglected by the king. So because they felt neglected by the king, so they became jealous. They became jealous that, oh, how come our husband neglecting us and he's showing the affection only to this wife? So they became jealous, and then they conspired among themselves, and then they poisoned the child. So they poisoned the child, and the child died. So when the child died, the king, he said, oh, what is this? And they became full of ocean of lamentation, lamenting that what is this? God has given me a child and he has taken away. What is this? What is this? So he was lamenting. The whole palace was full of lamentation. Crying, even to the extent that even the king was crying, was lamenting so much, even the other queens who also conspired to poison the child, they also cried, because the whole palace was full of lamentation. So, and then the rishi came back to the palace. Came back to the palace and asked the king that, what is happening? How's life in the palace? Obviously, the king is not happy. He was simply crying, lamenting. He said, oh, my son is dead, my son is dead. This life is unbearable, my son is dead. So the rishi said, well, I told you that you're going to have a son. This son will be the cause of your happiness and also the cause of your distress. I told you that before. So the king, of course, was not, in the mood to listen to this. So the king said, okay, let me bring back the child, and then the child will speak to you. So the sage brought back the soul of the child into the body. So he brought back the soul of the child into the body, and then the child got up. And then he started speaking to the king. He said, oh, king, in my last life, I was your enemy in my last life. I was your tough enemy in my last life, and I specifically come in this life just to give you distress. Just to give you distress. That's why I've come in your family. He said, my last life, I was your enemy in my last life. So, in this way, because the child came, and it was only meant to spend a specific amount of time, and then go. So therefore, as they said, that for one who's dead, birth is certain, and for one who's taking birth, death is certain. Both is inevitable. It's inevitable factors of life. So, because as we've been reading, that Krishna is telling Arjuna that all these warriors, they're going to die anyway. They are going to die. All these warriors. Just like in the next in the text 31 of this, I think it's text 31 of this chapter, whereby Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna that considering your duty as a Kshatriya, I think it's text 31. What's that? Yeah, text 31, when Lord Krishna is saying, Swadhaman api chavekshyana vikampitam arhasi damyadi yudhashreyon yak kshatriyasya na vidyate. That considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles. And so, there is no need for hesitation. First of all, just like, because a Kshatriyas have to fight, a Kshatriyas have to execute the duty of a Kshatriya is to fight, but the fighting must be on the religious grounds. It's not that because a Kshatriyas have to fight does not mean that he can just whimsically just engage in causing violence to others. As a matter of fact, there is in one, let me see if I can, there's one text which is cited by Gautamiya Rishi. It is one text which specifically mentions the duty of a Kshatriya. What a Kshatriya should do when it comes to war. That the kind of reward that a Kshatriya gets. Let me see. Because Krishna is telling Arjuna that considering your specific duty, you are meant to fight. That's your specific duty. And you cannot abandon your duty because Arjuna was thinking that, oh, maybe I should go to the forest. You know, Krishna said, no, you cannot do that. So in the where is it? So Gautamiya Rishi was talking of how if a Kshatriya engage in killing, what constitute the activities of a Kshatriya? He said there is no guilt, which means there is no sin from enduring in war anybody, which means there is no killing anybody, no sin killing in war anybody, apart from one who has been on someone who is not on horse, who has lost his charioteer, who is unarmed, who falls his armed, whose hair is disabled, who is retreating, who is sitting, who for safety has ascended some place or a tree, a messenger, a cow, and one who declared himself a Brahman. So which means there's some specific rule for the act of fighting of the Kshatriyas. Some specific rule is there, whereby the Kshatriyas, when they engage in fighting, when they're in the battlefield, if they're fighting with the opponent, and the opponent somehow become devoid of weapon, or the opponent surrenders by falling the hand, then one is not supposed to fight the person anymore. Because there's some strict rule that is there. One is not supposed to fight the persons anymore. And then also, so it mentioned that for those who fight in wars, for the protection of their land, without retreating and without any hidden weapons, they reach heaven as do the yogi. This is coming from Bhagavad-Gita, some text. So all these things just relating to the specific duty of the Kshatriyas. So the Kshatriyas, by killing on the battlefield, they don't incur any sin. But at the same time, if they fail to perform their duty, then they incur sin, which means they incur karma. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that if you neglect your duty, that's considered sinful. If you neglect your duty, because your duty is a Kshatriya, so there you have to fight. And when fighting, you have to kill your opponent. If one is on the battlefield, if one dies on the battlefield, then one goes to the higher planet. As a Kshatriya, one go to the higher planet. If one dies on the battlefield, one go to the heaven. Or if one is victorious, then one enjoy the wealth of the earth. If one is victorious. So which means for a Kshatriya, fighting on the religious principles, a Kshatriya fighting on the religious principle, the reward is always there. The reward is always good. The reward being that if you die on the battlefield, you go to the heavenly planet. Or if you die, you go to the heaven. Or if you win, you enjoy the opulence of the earth. You enjoy. So in one sense, so the Kshatriyas, they have this undue obligation, which is called kamya karma. But by not following one's religious principles, then that is said to be against the dharma, and one is said to be committing sin. So therefore, one has to follow one's particular principles in terms of whatever occupation, in terms of varnashram that one is in. Then one has to follow one particular ashram or varna that one belongs to, with the exception of if one becomes devotee of Krishna. When one becomes a devotee of Krishna, or let's say when one becomes a sadhu, then one is no longer required to follow any particular varnashram principles. Now, a question may be asked, if we say that one is not required to follow the particular varnashram principle if one becomes devotee, so hey, but Arjuna is a devotee of Krishna. So why does he have to be? Why is Krishna telling him that? Why is Krishna telling him that you have to perform your duty? If you don't perform your duty, it's sinful. You have to perform your duty. But Arjuna is already a devotee. So why is Krishna telling him to perform his duty as a Kshatriya? He just tell him that just go to Vrindavan, mix, associate with the gopis, become one of my cowherd friends in Vrindavan, start being a Kshatriya, just be my devotee. So why is Krishna telling Arjuna this thing? So the answer to that is that as Arjuna tell that, was Krishna telling Arjuna that all these warriors that you are seeing, they are already dead. They are already dead. But you, because you're my devotee, who is Sachin, I'm simply doing this. They're already dead, but you are my instrument, and it's for me to give you the glory. Because the Lord is always want to give glory to his devotees. The Lord wants to give glory to his devotees. When the Lord makes his appearance, when he makes his appearance on the planet, he makes his appearance, perform his lila, but he performs his lila with his devotees, in association of his devotees. The Lord does not, when he comes and performs lila, he does not do it alone. His lila actually becomes meaningful only because he does it with his devotees. He does it in the association of his devotees, and then the Lord gives glory to his devotees. So the battle of Kurukshetra was actually meant to give glory to Krishna's devotee. At the end of the Gita, when Sanjay, he said that Yata Yogeshwaru Krishna, Yata Pato Danodara, Tatasi Viyo Muti Dhruvaniti Matimama. So he's telling Dhritarashtra that wherever there is Krishna, wherever there is Arjuna, there will be victory, opulence, and everything. Because Krishna being the Supreme, Swayam Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, and Arjuna is a devotee of the Lord. Arjuna is the Lord's devotees. So, anyway, this is a very wonderful text in terms of how we should not be attached to our material body. We should not be attached to the material body. Rather, we should attach to the soul proper. We are spiritual, we are not material body. So this is what the Lord is emphasizing here. Material body is temporary. There's birth and then there's death. Both is inevitable. And this birth and death it goes on continuously, birth and death it goes on. It's a samsara, it's a cycle wheel, until one attain liberation. So this cycle will not stop. Sometimes you go to the higher planet, sometimes you go to the lower planet, or sometimes you stay here on earth. Sometimes you're an animal, sometimes you're a bird or a serpent or trees or plant, bird, human being or demigods, So you'll be transmigrating from one body to another body, from one space to another space, one planet to another planet. Sometimes you're a demigod, you go up and down. You will stay in the material world until you attain liberation. When once attain liberation, then there's no more birth or death. No more birth and death once I want to attain liberation. So therefore, Krishna is telling Arjuna not to be attached to the material body. Because material body is subject to birth and death. But the actual person is the soul. The soul is eternal. The soul is eternal, and more so, the soul is eternally part and parcel of God. The soul is eternal servant of God. Jivera Swarup or Krishna Nityadas. Jiva is eternal servant of Krishna. Krishna is eternal servant of Krishna. Once realize this, that one is eternal servant of Krishna, then there's no more birth and death. No more birth and death once one realize this eternal principle. That yes, I'm Nitya Krishna Das, eternal servant of Krishna. So I'm going to stop here. If there is any question or comment, thank you for listening. Hare Krishna. So just read the text again. Jātasya dhruvo mṛtyuḥ dhruvaṁ janma mṛtasya tasmād aparihārye arthe tvam śocitum arhasi. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, and one whose death is certain, so to birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Don't lament that you're going to kill your relative, because they're going to die anyway. Just follow my instruction and take the glory. That's what Krishna is telling Arjuna. Okay? So if there's any question, so thank you for listening. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.